that point,
you are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The realist adjusts the sails. That's by William Arthur Ward.
Ooh, I like that one. So...
Sensual Aromas, where you get 100% all-natural health care products. From herbal treatments for skin conditions and internal cleansing for the body, Sensual Aromas has what you're looking for. There are $25 natural cleansers, $15 natural body detoxes. There's also a special going on now. For $12, you can get 5 lip balms, and for $8, you can get 2 of our whipped scented shea butters. For coupons on our services, go to breakthetradition.com. For more products and information, go to sensualaromas.com.
Hi, I'm Ashley Matthews. With each individual sale, there will be a donation made to fighting cancer naturally. Research without radiation. Let's break away from the old tradition.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
My name is Meera Batra. I have been in this country 32 years, and this is how I live united. America has always been the land of promise, and in my community, many families have come for a better life. Coming from another culture myself, I know the desire to become part of a community, to feel at home, and to gain the tools for our children and families to succeed. So I advocate for these families with United Way. United Way empowers them to look beyond their histories and to see what opportunities are available. We help them get involved with their kids' schools, network within the community, and when we do, we unite them. We make the community stronger. What I do is something I wish someone had done for me, and I am so grateful I am able to. My name is Meera Batra. I help families see opportunities and succeed. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund.
You're listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Talk dirty to me.
I love it. It's awesome. It's all my gets me going every day.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Tell the world I see with an emoji.
Know someone who's being bullied online?
Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at iwitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Thank you very much.
Because they had nothing else to do.
So it was like, imagine that your late husband was actually your father. I can't imagine that because that's disgusting.
Very much so.
And then I would have to clean my basement because that's where my actual father resides right now. So, okay. The 60-year-old woman learned the truth about her husband, Percy, 6 years after he passed away.
Not Percy, no. Percy doesn't sound like that name.
Percy just sounds like a feminine boy.
Really?
Yeah.
But nobody told you at no point.
Like Percy, look at Percy over there with his purse.
His name first.
Percy always switching.
And you just keep laughing at him.
That's a joke. What do you call it? What's the gay boy's name?
Percy.
Percy.
What are you doing, Percy? I don't even know what to say about this one, and I'm the one that said it. Oh my gosh, we're here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. The conversations can get deep, they can get out of this world, but we do them. BeExposedRadio.com. Talk Lately, the radio show. You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Business owners, need more customers? Offer fantasy sports contests and generate more sales. Restaurants, bars, hotels, auto dealerships, real estate offices. Whatever your business, fantasy sports contests can help you increase your sales and bring you more loyal customers. Visit Fanify.com or call 888-55-SPORT. Our software lets you customize contests fast and easy for your brand. That's right. Visit Fanify.com or call 888-55-SPORT. That's 888-55-SPORT or visit Fanify.com.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Check out this flashback from the Artist Exchange radio show.
That's the biggest thing, is just empowerment. Just get off of the begging line. Just be proud and just get our pride and our dignity back, because as a child, we're taught how to go and beg for a job. Our parents, they literally taught us how to make sure you pull your pants up. Me, I'm 6'7", so I'm a bigger man. I was always taught how to not be threatening or intimidate people when I go into different interviews or different scenarios. And so we're literally taught how to condition ourselves, condition our speech, everything, in order to go and beg these people for a job, because we know when we walk in the door, I have to tear down 10 stereotypes before I get past hello. So we need to eliminate that. You know, and we need to eliminate that, and the way that we do that is employing ourselves and employing our brothers and sisters. And so that's our mission, is group economics, uplift ourselves, because I can't empower anyone until I empower myself, and change from just being willing, because it's in my heart and my passion to see my people succeed and see us do better and change the social order.
Hey, what's up? And welcome to the Artist Exchange radio show, here live on BeExposedRadio.com. It's me, your host, Nate. I am here. I am back. I've been on a little break. I'm actually doing a show right now. So it's called The King of Howard Street. It's a play written by this gentleman named Anthony Williams. And he is... why is everything so loud? I am here today, and we are, like I said, The King of Howard Street. It's a production that is going on at the Annex Theater right now. So for the next 3 Fridays, starting yesterday, I'm not here. Yesterday's show was really good. We had Rebel Rel and his posse, Mr. Mike and Mr. Tony, coming here, and they were guest hosting today. So thank you and shout out to them. My co-host, Mr. HullyWood, he's recovering right now. He has had some back problems, so he'll be joining us again shortly. But like I said, I have been doing a play called The King of Howard Street. The writer of this, inspiration behind this is Mr. Anthony Williams. He was once homeless and was homeless for a greater portion of his life. And he began journaling at one point in time during the winter. And he actually was able to... Why is this? Is it loud? There you go. And he was able... That's this one. I can't do this today. So I'm trying, but it's just a lot. So we were able to get to a point where we were able to talk to this man and hear his story and really formulate a play. And a young lady named Anna Witzberg actually wrote the play from his manuscript. So it was a really great time, a very easy, outgoing show, and it goes up to June the 3rd. So starting this month, the third Saturday of every month, we will be hosting a number of authors and writers from the African Americans Empowerment and Authors Expo that will be happening. I believe you have the date for it.
October 7th.
October the 7th at Morgan State University. We did it last year. Phenomenal experience. I have never read so much in my life. So our first writer was Miss Sheena, and she was here a couple weeks ago. And now we have Mr. J.A. Faulkerson and Shataya Sims. She'll be calling in later in the show. But in the studio right now, we have Mr. Faulkerson. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I was practicing. I had a Miss Folk as a music teacher, so I had a kind of a cheat sheet. But he's joining us, so he's going to tell us a lot about who he is and what he does. And real quick, let us know how we can find you on social media, because we have a break coming up shortly. So let us know how we can find you on social media, how people can send you some checks, stuff like that.
All right. Well, they can go. One of the first things they can do is go to my...
Go ahead, keep going. I'll turn it down for you.
They can go to my website, which is www.jafaulkerson.wordpress.com.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere.
I'm hearing that echo. It's kind of
it was. He had it up too loud, and today is just that
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
My name is Ruth Rusey. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that. Cool! That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Check out this flashback from It Is What It Is radio show.
Paul he was chilling, he was doing his thing. Y'all, you feel me? Love y'all family, you know what I'm saying? And like, for him to be taken away from you, snatched away from you just like that, you feel me? It's like damn.
The hard,
another good one gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you taking the good? You know what I'm saying?
You always end up asking like, why?
And like again, it's a lesson that it's a test of faith. You feel me? Gonna take you through these tests. You feel me? You're gonna go through these little phases in life, yo. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you just gotta recognize that one, it's the adversary trying to knock you off your pivot, and then it's God trying to teach you something. You feel me? Right. Anything that you go through, you gonna get through. It's called going through. You feel me? That's why it's called going through. You going through something. Right. You feel me? Because after you go through it, you get through it. You look back going like, damn, I got that. You feel what I'm saying?
For this and more, be sure to tune into BeExposedRadio.com every Friday from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock p.m. to listen to more of It Is What It Is radio show.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
My name is Ruth Rusey. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united.
The moon shines softly on his face. I should be getting on my way. Maybe I'll stay. I think I'll stay. Just one more taste of his embrace. He whispers, do you wanna play? Maybe I'll stay. He knows I'll stay. These moon games that we play inside the night, entwined amongst the stars, it's like we're taking flight. No wrong or right, no rules to break. Clandestine moments that we take. The morning His lips tell secrets on my skin. Our late night journey starts again. He pulls me in. The game begins. Just one more time before the sun shines light on all the things we've done. We'll tell no one. It's all in fun. These moon games that we play inside the night, entwined amongst the stars, it's like we're taking flight. No wrong or right, no rules to break. Clandestine moments that we take. The morning light will be here soon. Till then we'll stay beneath the moon. The sun shines softly on my face. I should be getting on my way. Maybe I'll stay. I guess I'll stay.
Tell me how you like it, baby. Heard he ain't hitting it like you like it, baby. Try if you want it, I know you will won't do half the shit that I got planned for you. So tell me if you want that back on my Jeep. You and me, baby, three.
Backseat of my Jeep, let's swing an episode.
Girl, I wanna know what you want. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. All that kissing and touching, that backseat loving. Girl, I get a rush every time that we fuck. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. All that kissing and touching, that backseat loving. Girl, I get a rush every time that we fuck. I know that you like it, baby. Said you're a newbie to this love making. Come on, everything I got you, baby. Take a sip of this. Take a hit of this. Lay back, let me do that while you twerk that in the backseat. Oh, 'cause we got all night. We got all night. Yeah, I know you like that. On my Jeep in the back of my three.
Backseat of my Jeep, let's swing an episode.
Girl, I gotta know. Girl, I gotta know. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. All that kissing and touching, that backseat loving. Girl, I get a rush every time that we fuck. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. All that kissing and touching, that backseat loving. Girl, I get a rush every time that we fuck. You are so loud, you can't fake. The way you move your body, girl, for God's sake. You made me wanna leave and go to my place. You are so loud, you can't fake. The way you move your body, girl, for God's sake. So we should up and leave and go to my place. My place. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. All that kissing and touching, that backseat loving. Girl, I get a rush every time that we fuck. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. Come in, baby, you know you want us the front. All that kissing and touching, that backseat loving. Girl, I get a rush
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy me. So, anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew. Wait, Mom, what?
What? Hold
What'd you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now. Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show. So, since we're talking about the book, can you give people a synopsis of what the book is? And what's the name of the book again, and then what it's about?
The name of the book is From Trial to Afflictions. More than one, because there were more than one afflictions.
Yes.
The book is talking about, actually, it's my life story. And I have to add in there that when that prophet told me, he said, tell your story, write the story. He said, and God said, tell your addiction. Now, see, I'm not going to tell the addiction because you have to get the book to read it. But it was about deliverance. Mm-hmm. It was about all the, trials and tribulations we go through. People that come into our life, even people that come to try and break you down or draw you down so that you can't stand for God or worship Him through your situation, because that's the adversary using them. We have to know that. But through it all, I was still praying and fasting. I needed help from God. I really did. I needed help from God to see me through. And for anyone that's going through, I say that this book is about different afflictions.
Yes.
Going through them, how you get through them. And I had a sister pushing me too, praying for me. I thank God for that again.
Yes.
But it also talks about deliverance. There is deliverance in the process.
Yes.
And you have to be willing to see yourself first, to know that you need deliverance.
Yeah.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Free stuff for you just for listening to this station. Yo, we got your attention? Here's how it works. You click on the Radio Loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for cool stuff in the Radio Loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps in the New Players App Store. Pretty simple. Free stuff just for doing what you already do. Radio Loyalty. Click the banner to join now.
You're listening to the station with their ear to the streets. BeExposedRadio.com.
You use Tearless baby shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out this flashback. If someone
radio shows only here on BeExposedRadio.com. I am your host, Nate. In the building, we have Mr. J.A. Faulkerson. He's an author and so much more. We're about to find out that whole resume of things this gentleman has himself embedded in. And the topic today is page turners. The third Saturday of every month leading up to the Authors Expo in October, we'll be hosting a number of authors that are members and participants of that expo. And we are proud today to have Mr. Faulkerson here joining us. And we had a really interesting conversation over the break. And I want him to first tell us about the book that you're here to promote. And then we'll get into the rest of it, the juices of it, later on in the segment.
Well, I actually have 2 books.
Okay.
I have Dinkerheen, Fear of a Black Planet, which is my novel, my debut novel. And then I also have Real Men Raise Champions, Unleashing Your Inner Coach, which is a book that I wrote based on my experiences as a stay-at-home father.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I explained to you earlier,
to a teenage young man.
Yeah, he's 13 now. But 9 of his 13 years, I was home as a stay-at-home parent.
Mm-hmm.
Just helping him develop into the young man he is today.
Okay.
But in terms of my debut novel, Dinkerheen, Fear of a Black Planet, this is a novel that I wrote back in 2014.
Okay.
And I actually entered it in a contest, the Harlem Book Fair. They have this thing called the Phyllis Wheatley Book Awards.
Okay.
And I was in the top 3. My book finished in the top 3.
That's what's up.
Didn't win it, but
top 3.
I was in the top 3, and I got a chance to attend a ceremony at Columbia University.
Wow.
And Omar Tyree, he was one of the guys that kind of announced the winner, and he congratulated all the winners. And Omar, he's a cool dude. And he's really an author that I really admire.
Okay.
But Dinkerheen is sci-fi. It's sci-fi, but it mixes a political element.
Mm-hmm.
My main character, his name is Jonathan Frazier. He's a reporter with the Washington Post, but he gets recruited into this secret organization called a Dinkerheen.
Okay.
A Dinkerheen, it's a Dinkerheen Reparations Management Syndicate. It's actually a secret society has been in existence since the beginning of time.
Wow.
And so he gets recruited into this organization, but he gets recruited by this young lady by the name of Selena Giles. And Selena Giles, because I open a story with a scene or a prologue that kind of sets the story in motion where her grandmother gets murdered by 2 white men. And this is back in during the Jim Crow era.
Okay.
And she grows up wanting to get revenge on these Jim Crow criminals. Well, fast forward many years later, and Jonathan and Selena are the best of friends. And what they do, this secret society, Selena's already in the secret society. She recruits Jonathan into it. But the whole goal of a Dinkerheen is to expose Jim Crow criminals, bring them to account for their crimes. And I don't want to give too much of the book away.
You got to read it.
You got to read it, but it does mix in the sci-fi element where you have people walking through walls. You have black people flying through the sky like Superman and Superwomen.
Oh, wow.
You basically have, just this secret organization emerging from the shadows to reveal themselves, because now's the time.
Well, I have 2 questions. One, are you ready for the backlash from this book? Because most times when we write stuff from a real place, we not always taking one, seriously, but 2, it's you're not over that yet. You're not like, why do we still need to know about this? Why do we need to hear? But then because it's fiction also, it still has a magical aspect to it, but you don't want it to seem like you're just trying to add pixie dust to something that's actually happened in real life, in real time. But how are you preparing yourself for that,
well, you know
that
what?
balance of feedback?
Well, I think anytime you deal with real issues, really because you look at our political environment now, with Donald Trump being our president, we had our first black president, and in this book you have a first black president who's actually manning the ship, and his name is Herbert Newsom. He's the first black president. So it's a time when he is running for re-election, but the guy who actually murdered Selena Giles' grandmother, he's much older now, and he's running to unseat Herbert Newsom. So you have that element going on. So, but this is a Jim Crow criminal who's running for political office. He's committed a crime. Some people know it. Everybody doesn't know it. But, to answer your question, I mean, those are things that as a writer you have to deal with. You have to be able to speak the truth. You can do it in a fictional way, and that's what I did, because one of the questions I asked myself is like, what would the world be like if black people had the power?
And it's crazy because books like this just 5-10 years ago would have just been overlooked. But the fact that we have had a black president, the fact that we have stronger black leadership, not just on a local level, but on a national level now, it's not something that we can't not see now. So the fact that we have the president that we have now, like, how do you it's scary writing stories like this now, because we see it happen in reality. It was always a dream before to have this black man at the helm of our country, of the world even, and now you are writing stories that are now based in truth, complete truth, not just a fantasy.
And the thing about this story is this first story is meant to shock you. It's meant to wake you up to the realities. Like one of the things that as a child growing up, I didn't have any black heroes. I mean, sure, I had Black Panther, I had Black Lightning, I had other characters that DC and Marvel would introduce to us. But
Lord, just throw us a couple here and there.
Yeah, but I wanted to create a world where black people were heroes and sheroes. And I think I accomplished that.
At the forefront of it.
Yeah. But I don't want to end there, because I had 2 other books that this is part of a 3-part series. So this is Fear of a Black Planet. But the 2 books that I have the next book I'll be working on is Fear of a Beloved Community. And Fear of a Beloved Community is really just talking about how do we come together as a people, as a human race. I mean, let's forget about all the divisions based along the color of people's skin. I mean, how do we come together as a people? That's Fear of a Beloved Community. And then the last book is Fear of an Alien Presence, because the whole thing, the thing that's been driving the creatures who have been driving the wedges between the human race have been these Satyrians. They're the alien presence. But see, the thing about this book is that
you really raised a teenage
hold on
young
for a second.
man.
I know I did.
I can tell all the.
But let me say this though: it's like what you got to understand about the reason the Satyrians don't invade the Earth, because they live on Mars.
Right.
The reason they don't invade Earth is because black people serve as the buffer. So if they come in contact with you or I, because we're black, they will instantly die, because they have an allergic reaction to black.
Do they know that?
They don't know that.
Okay.
They also cannot possess us. They can't possess us because the pigment in our skin is a barrier. So the color of her skin is a strength, not a curse.
How much information is out there already that lends to this? Like, are there stories or there accounts that you drew from that say this, or?
Not really. I mean,
okay.
I do assert in the book that we are God's chosen people, meaning that black people were created first. And what happened in the beginning, I set it up where Adam and Eve were created. They were black. But God, there was electromagnetic energy that flowed across the earth, the sands of the earth, because we were created from the sands.
Right.
And there was other beings that were created. And because of the color of the sands, that meant the color of your skin, color of your skin matched the color of the sand.
Okay.
So, I set that mythology up first. Okay. And some people may say, well, that's a true mythology. Of course, I didn't pull that from anywhere. I used my creative license. Okay. But the
power
fact,
of the pen.
Yeah, but the fact that I pulled from the Bible, elements from stories that I read in the Bible, from Genesis and places like that. Sometimes people can look at that and say, well, Jeff, I mean, I understand creative license, but you're misconstruing the word of God, and all that stuff. And I understand that.
It's your interpretation.
Yeah, it's valid. It's valid.
Right.
But I let people know on the front end that this is a book of fiction. This is not fact. It's fiction. And I want to be able to use my creative license to get us started, because my whole goal, I mean, you see I have a cross on my neck. I'm a born again Christian. Okay. And I want people to read this book and be able to, I guess, connect with God, right? In a real way. I mean, sure, you question, what I put in there, but hopefully by you questioning what I put in this book, it'll drive you back to the book, the real book that you need to be reading, which is the Word of God. Right. And that's really where I'm at. So I pack a lot of things in a Dinkerheen, a lot of things that will make people, people of certain persuasions. If you're white, I mean, you may be riled up by some of the things that are in the book. But see, you got to understand that I'm pro-black. I'm not anti-white when I write.
Well, and part of my question in the beginning was, are you ready for that backlash? Because that assumption will easily be made. The all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter. I can be for my people and not against you at the same time. But at some point, we have to be leveled in the playing field. And part of that, us being level, is I have to embrace my culture and not so much your culture, but just emphasize on mine. And I'm not hating on yours. Do you have your parades, have your days, have your holidays and such, but I have to be grounded in my belief and in my faith of what's going on and what has to then happen.
Well, the thing I like to say about that is Black lives do matter. Right. And because they haven't mattered for so long. And there's things that happen in Baltimore and other places around our nation that cause for concern. Right. But you got to understand too that what I applaud those white siblings in the struggle. There are white people out there who identify with what's going on with us as a people, what's going on with us historically. Right. And I applaud that. I mean, because we need more white individuals to stand up and really denounce white supremacy. Right. Because, in Black supremacy, any people who want to be supreme, we have to denounce that. Red, yellow, black, white, it doesn't matter. We have to denounce that because we are all equal.
Because what happens in you wanting to be supreme, you do erase other people. No matter what color you are or complexion you are, you do that. Even when it comes down to sex. If I'm going to be the higher sex, I am denying who you are and what you are to this entire equation. That's right. So I definitely hold true to what you said just now. It really... Because at what point do you want to be no longer equal, but you want to be greater than? Like, are we really striving for equality now, or we just want to be more powerful?
Well, we live in a nation where we're trying to create a more perfect union. And I think in Dinkerheen, I put it out there that Black people are supreme because they have a supernatural ability. Right. What it is connected to something called the Eden Stone. So it's a rock that black explorers discovered in Africa.
Right.
And they chipped away at it, but they found out that this Eden stone, if you take a little piece and graft it into the back of a black body, it gives them supernatural abilities.
Oh, wow.
And these supernatural abilities allow them to walk through walls, fly through the air.
I want this stone, sir.
Yeah, it's called the Eden stone.
The Eden stone.
The Eden stone. So it goes all the way back to Eden. And so they have these supernatural powers, but everybody else has natural powers.
Do you feel because we'll get into that later on too, but you are a screenwriter as well. Are those things that you want to explore as far as a filmmaker or a writer for film and TV?
I do, and I've written 2 screenplays.
Okay.
The first is Significant Brothers.
Okay.
Or Significant Brother, and the other one is A Different Kind of Prejudice. And I've wrote those, and I actually put them in book form, so they're available at Amazon. So if anybody wants to go check those out, they can. I mean, it's just visit www.jafaulkerson.wordpress.com. You can purchase those screenplays, but those screenplays are 2 things that I want to get produced. But I also have other stories inside of me. So if anybody wants to collaborate, I mean, I'd love to work on projects of other people, get credit. I mean, and just do what we can to really, I guess, add more stories to the black narrative here in America. And
also go against that narrative that is out there that says that black people don't want to do sci-fi.
Yeah.
Or we won't buy into sci-fi, or we won't, participate in that. So too many times we've, being in the arts and being in programs, we try to be a part of programs like that do, that's a play or a TV, and we try to be a part of it, and people are like, nah, I don't really think black people are gonna, and it's too many accounts of that. But we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show with Mr. J.A. Faulkerson and all of his stories and all of his writings. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Talk dirty to me.
I love it. It's awesome. It's all mine. It's me going every day.
Rediscover your lore. House of China. You can set up an appointment with Camilla Collins, your very own image consultant. From street to chic and regular to radiant, House of China is for you. To follow House of China, it's Camilla_China Doll on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. And on Facebook, it's HOC Image Consulting. It's by appointment only, so text in at 910-986-8153. Or you can email her at houseofchinadoll@gmail.com. House of China, revitalizing your life.
Do yourself a favor and listen to this hilarious flashback on Charm City Direct Radio Show.
You know me. I eat like this all the time. Do I gain any weight? No, at all. You can have my belly right now. I'm giving away body parts. Somebody said they need a butt. Somebody said they need a butt.
I can use a little extra tissue there.
I can pop it. Right now.
He out here giving out butt cheek donations.
Hey everybody, it's your girl, the magical glow getter herself, Anissa Maureen, co-host of the Charm City Direct Radio Show. Catch me and the rest of my team every Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title.
Kindle. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is. Because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person. And if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's radio loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We have Mr. J.A. Faulkerson here with us, and he's given us some interesting turn. I didn't think that's what we were going to talk about, but definitely a balance in being a writer and not just following trends and what's hot and what people write about, but really including yourself in the story and writing from a perspective of knowledge, what you know to be true versus what you want to be true, and really balancing that off, because there are elements of your faith, of your culture, of your manhood, all that sprinkled in this with the idea of wanting to do better for your people. So I think that's a great platform to build a career of being a writer and an artist off of. I'll ask you this: how much of you, after saying that, is in your books, or in your writings, in your journals, and so forth?
You know, I think a lot is in me just because of my experiences. I mean, I remember, running. I was an athlete in high school and college, probably middle school, high school, and college, and I ran track and field, played football, and I remember working out one time and just running on the road,
right?
And I'm living up in Upper East Tennessee, and as I'm running down the road, someone blurts out "nigger."
Oh wow!
Calls me.
How old were you at that point?
I was probably freshman, sophomore in high school, and all I'm doing is trying to get ready for the season. And someone who's ignorant blurted out the N-word. And
I'm gonna say to you, for me, that was around the first time that I heard it used in that way before.
Yeah.
I grew up in a household where that word wasn't it wasn't allowed. Yeah. But having somebody who not supposed to say that word, absolutely not supposed to say it, said to you, I was in high school, 580 some white people, 12 black people, and we were called those names constantly.
And you know what? And I grew up in Upper East Tennessee, a little town called Kingsport. And it was pretty common for black folk to be called the N-word. I'm not going to keep repeating the word,
right? But
the N-word, and but those kind of experiences, they really shaped the person I would have become, because it's meant to be the meaning, but most people, we have to use it as a source of strength. And I understand, kids, I mean, these days, black kids in general,
right,
they used to use it as a term of endearment.
Right.
At least that's what they say. But they don't understand the stinging power of that word.
But again, before we get over that, isn't that the point? Weren't they eventually supposed to not understand what that word can do to you, or what has happened with that word?
Yeah.
Because when I hear certain generations speak on that was the point. The point of them was to not be affected by that word.
Turn a negative into a positive.
Right.
I understand that, but I agree that we probably don't need to use it at all. I mean, just because it was meant as the meaning, I think we can find other words, but it's that experience of being subjected to being demeaned as a person, taking my personhood away. I think that really encouraged me to, really be excellent at anything that I did. If it was athletics, I wanted to be excellent. If it was a writer, I wanted to be excellent. And I independently published these books because, I send, you send stuff out, you send letters and proposals, and see if any publishers want to take your book on. and you get these rejection letters. And first you got to go through an agent. So you actually approach the agents first.
Right.
And they don't want to represent you. So, but then when Amazon, they had their platform, iUniverse, and all these different independent publishing platforms came on, I said, man, okay, this is my chance to get my stuff out there. And I did that. But see, getting my stuff out there meant that I had to expose a lot of the stuff inside of me as a person.
Right.
So writing gives me that chance to do that. And I always loved sci-fi. I'm a Trekkie.
Right.
I love Star Wars. I love anything Marvel puts out. And I'm going to love anything that DC puts out. Because if it's Justice League movie does justice, then, you know.
I don't know. Maybe, possibly.
Yeah. I don't know. It may not be able to compete against the Avengers franchise, but we'll see. We'll see. That's to be determined.
To be determined. Well, you go create your own lineage. Would you go into the comic book realm if you had a good artist to partner with?
Well, I talked to my artist who did my cover and some of the interior art, Damonn Douglas, the painter of dreams, and he's out of California, but he did my artwork, and he did a wonderful job. I mean, he took what I told him and he brought it to life.
Okay.
And you look at the book cover, you can actually see that. I mean, just how
it really
how much
is
detail.
And it's interesting because often I see so much, like I see the background, like congressional type building in the background, but I also see the guys at the bottom of it, and it jars you because the whole image of it without the superhero, of course, takes me to like slave ship. Like this, the images of it. Yeah. And I don't like to start our history there. Yeah. But it just mimics that imagery in my head.
Well, the thing, you talk about start our history there. In the book, I start our history in the beginning.
Right.
God created.
Day one.
And the first black man and the first black woman were black in my book. And black people have shaped pretty much. I mean, if you look at our country, America, we're the conscience of this country because we have been treated the worst. Because we have been treated the worst, this country has had to live up to its ideals. And that right there is a statement I try to make in the book. But I also, try to assert that black people have power. We have power. And it could be natural, it could be supernatural, but we have power. And we haven't been exerting that power since the beginning of time, since the first
and
African
it's right
slaves.
in our hands. It's in our hands. So
kings and queens in Africa, that's where our history is. And even before that, there's things that went on. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that our young people understand that connection, that link to the motherland.
And that's what's actually missing. But we're gonna get more into this conversation. These bills, they pile up, so we got to pay the bills. Shout out to our sponsors, Central Aromas, and we'll get the next one when we come back. Central Aromas. The commercial's about to come on, so listen to it. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BigExposedRadio.com.
Sensual Aromas, where you get 100% all-natural health care products. From herbal treatments for skin conditions and internal cleansing for the body, Sensual Aromas has what you're looking for. There are $25 natural cleansers, $15 natural body detoxes. There's also a special going on now. For $12, you can get 5 lip balms, and for $8, you can get 2 of our whipped scented shea butters. For coupons on our services, go to breakthetradition.com. For more products and information, go to sensualaromas.com.
Hi, I'm Ashley Matthews. With each individual sale, there will be a donation made to Fighting Cancer Natural. Research without radiation. Let's break away from the old traditions.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, what's up? And welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BigExposedRadio.com. Today is the African Americans Authors and Empowerment Expo takeover. So for the summer, leading up to October the 7th, October the 7th at Morgan State University, we will be hosting a number of the authors from that expo, and we'll be there on October the 7th at Morgan State University representing the Artist Exchange Radio Show and Big Exposed Radio. So definitely stay tuned this summer. We have some nice good reads, starting with the Adinkra Heen.
And let me say something about that, because the title kind of throws people too. But
Right.
it's a term from Africa.
Right.
Ghana.
Adinkra.
Yeah, Adinkra symbols, but
Mhm.
Adinkra Heen, the way I sum it up, it means great charismatic leadership.
Okay.
So great, the words that are associated with the word is
Mhm.
greatness, charisma, and leadership. So I just
Okay.
sum it up and say great charismatic leadership.
Okay.
And what I was explaining to you earlier is that we as a people, we as a black people, we've exhibited great charismatic leadership. You look at some of our civil rights leaders like Dr. King, and you go back to Frederick Douglass, and individuals like that who are very instrumental in moving our agenda forward as a people. And that right there is really what we have to continue to do. We have to teach our young people. And that's why I started a nonprofit called Achievement Square Development and Training Centers Incorporated. And if you go to www.achievementsquare.org or .org, you can actually see what we're trying to do in Northern Virginia. But we have to really teach our young people how to find that great charismatic leadership inside themselves, because it's not enough for us to sit back and allow bad things to happen to us as a people.
Continuously happen.
Yeah, we need leaders to stand up and actually do more to help move our agenda forward. And then by moving our agenda forward, they move the collective agenda forward.
So we say that a lot, but there are plenty of examples of how that has worked. But what I think now is people like to protest, people like to have meetings, people like to plan, but the action of actually doing it has died off. So no longer do we have the programs that are, they're out there. I'm not going to discredit a lot of the programs that are out there that are pushing that agenda and actually doing it. And
Well,
not
I'm
just
saying
sitting behind it.
this. I'm saying, so I can see the power in programs, and I have a program, the Young Achievers program.
Right.
But I'm talking about power in the people. Not power of the people, power in the people.
Right.
And my focus has always been on young people, youth, and really helping them identify the power they have inside to be change agents.
Right.
And that's really what we need. We need
from whatever
people,
perspective you're coming from.
From any perspective, you can be a Republican, you can be a Democrat, you can be independent.
You can be a doctor, or you can be any profession, any perspective, any walk of life. You have that in you to promote that change.
But it boils down to this. It boils down what is right and what is wrong. And depending on what your perspective is, you're going to define what is right and wrong differently.
Right.
But see, you got to have you got to have a moral compass.
Standards.
And because, I mean, everybody has a moral compass. We know what's right and wrong. It doesn't matter whether we're Republican, Democrat, or independent. We know what's right and wrong. If the least fortunate are suffering, you know what's wrong. But and if the top 1%, they're the ones who are reaping all the rewards, then you know something's wrong. There's income inequality.
There's a gentleman, actually the gentleman who inspired the play that I'm in right now. We got into conversations because what has happened to him is he's been homeless since a child, and he's been in and out of this system in some capacity throughout his entire life, and he's now 53. And the issue with him was getting himself off the streets and into homes. It took a tunnel, and the tunnel is Section 8 and public housing. And for him, he's now, because he served before he gets Social Security, so on and so forth, and he is a certain amount every month. So if he makes anything beyond that, all the programs, health insurance, so on and so forth, are taken away from him. So there's no like threshold, like some middle ground where as though he can earn, but then they wean him off of it. It's just you earn more than what I'm giving you, and this is it. So it's the idea people stay stuck in that cycle, in that bubble, because so food stamps, I get $194 a month. I can't make any more than what I was making when I filled out that application. So this is all that I can do. So this is what I have. So I have to make $194 work for me every month. Nobody can eat off $194 because we have appetites, and depending on what time of year, whatever. So nobody can live off of that. I mean, we've learned how to do it, but health-wise, are you really getting all that you can take in, nutrient-wise, so on and so forth, to be able to? And his thing was, people stay stuck in that cycle because this, at least right here, I know I get this $194 a month and whatever other benefits, and this is what it is. And none of that matters to me because I have to worry about today. I have to eat today, and I can't look 10 years down the road and think about my health. When I have to eat today. So I have less than $1 and some change to eat off every day of the week.
Well, you know what? I'd like to say something about that because city planners, they have a lot to do with that as well. Like you look at, the lack of affordable housing in some areas. Like we live in an area here in the DMV where, the price of homes is crazy. The median household income, like I know an area in Northern Virginia where the median household income is $113,000. Okay, the poverty threshold for an individual under 65 is $12,000. Family of 4 is $23,000. So you have situations like that where individuals are trying to survive off $12,000 in a area where the median household
survival
income
level is
$113,000.
8 times the amount.
So you have that going on. So housing is scarce because
housing isn't scarce. The affordable housing.
Affordable housing is scarce because but it's a ploy to push people out. As opposed to bring people in.
There's a number of people that lived in D.C., grew up in D.C., not in the Maryland area, not Virginia, not both, that grew up that cannot afford to live there if there is not a house full of them. And that's, no one owes you your own home. Nobody owes that to you. That's something that you worked for.
But when you overprice a home, you overprice a home because you go down to, like I moved from Texas, I lived in down south, and homes. You can get affordable homes in those areas, but even in those cities, people are trying to push you to certain parts of the city. Based on how they price the homes.
You out of the state completely.
That's it. So, you have that going on, and who gets impacted the most by that is usually us. But see, what we have to do, we have to understand that we have a responsibility as well to educate people about, well, what's going on, but also this is what if you do X, Y, and Z, you can actually afford this home.
Right.
If you get an education, if you graduate from college or trade school or whatever, if you obtain the necessary skills you need to make yourself marketable to an employer and things like that, then you can afford those kind of homes because, there are people who may have some motives where they want to relegate a certain population or keep this population reserved for a certain population and move everybody else out. But if you have the means and the resources to live in these areas, you can do that.
Right.
But it's based on you actually gaining the knowledge and the skills and the experiences and the connections that you need that will allow you to get that job that will allow you to pay for those homes.
So so we got about 5 more minutes left in this segment. Give me a little insight on the nonprofit that you started.
Well, the nonprofit is called Achievement Square Development and Training Centers Incorporated, and we just got our determination letter in April.
Okay.
But we've been up and running since January. But in the fall of 2017, we want to go in and put on what we call a Saturday workshop series.
Okay.
And we'll take a cluster of 16 students, 8 males and 8 females, recruited from grades 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to take them through a series of workshops. And there's 4 key areas that we focus on. We focus on nurturing, we focus on learning, working, and leading. So those are our 4 key areas. And I call those 4 areas the 4 pillars of prosperity. And nurturing is all about, okay, what do you need to do to become a reliable friend, a present spouse, and also an active parent? So
Building a foundation.
That's it. So that's where we start. And then learning is like, how do you succeed in school, in the here and now, in the present, in the short term? And how do you set yourself up to go to college or trade school or the military or whatever? And then working, we're going to focus on entrepreneurship. I have these 2 components of our Young Achievers program, which is called, one is called Career Buddies, Workforce Development Partnership. Right. And what we want to do is we want to create partnership with the local employers in Northern Virginia, and we want them to open up their offices to put on actually not workshops, but bring these kids on as interns for 10 weeks. And we hopefully, if we're able to raise the money, we'll be able to pay their salaries through a stipend. And then, because we're only dealing with a small group, we're going to do 2 groups of 16.
Okay.
So we have 32 students that will serve during the year. But then the other thing is BOSS Business Incubation. And BOSS Business Incubation, since I'm a writer, I said, what better thing to do is to teach kids how to manage a company, a publishing company, that publishes books that are based on their experiences as young people, and
teach them ownership instead of employability. Skills.
And BOSS stands for Building Opportunities, Sustaining Success. So it's BOSS Business Incubation. And that's what we're gearing up to do in the fall of 2017. Now, BOSS won't occur until later on, once we get the 2 cluster groups out, probably during the summer of 2018 is when that would start up. But and the Career Buddies too, because they have to graduate from our Saturday workshop series, 12 weeks. At the 13th week, we'll have a graduation, celebrate their accomplishment.
Okay.
For
and then in summer they'll be matched up with businesses.
Yeah, summer we'll start summer employment.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things I have to work through because we're a new nonprofit. But
I think I may have some ideas for you. So we're gonna take a quick break. I'll share some of them ideas, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
All right.
Hey now, this is your girl Tracy from Gangsta Goddess Radio. If you missed us on Monday from 7 to 8, catch this flashback. Gangsta Goddess Radio, BeExposedRadio.com. And I think about people like definitely Ellen stands out to me because she is a woman who decided to take a stand and say, hey, I'm gay. She did it on national television, and it changed the course of her career. And at first, it did not seem like it was for the better because she was actually chastised and she was not celebrated, and many people left her. So I appreciate the fact that she was able to go back in the lab and come back out. Now, I will say that the standards are different for my car.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girl in Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girl in Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org.
Shout out to the Weird Radio Show. If I got that wrong, I apologize. It's slick, right? And they are so cool. They're like gamers. And when I was on that show, they was like, what's a scary game? And I just was like, I don't really play games like that. But I thought like at the end of, what's that game? Mario Brothers. When you got to fight King Koopa. Yeah. Ain't that scary? They laughed at me when I said that. When you hear that thing, that right there, oh my God, girl. But they had me on that show, and they was talking about PlayStation, and I'm not a gamer. I'm not a gamer girl. Shout out to the girls out there who will whip ass playing games.
Keyboard.
Because there's some girls who do.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers.
Small, limit everything to weekend. Now it's a matter of okay, let's set them up because we're going to work with these kids until they're. You can work with these kids until they're in the seniors in high school.
And those types of programs where you get those wrap-around services is so beneficial. I mentioned to you before the show started, I was in a program called Project Raise. Yeah. Project Raise followed us from second grade on to like the lady who was in charge of our specific school, where we at elementary school, we still have a connection to her, but the program kind of died off funding wise. It started out as, I believe, fellowship for a PhD candidate, and he started a program to gauge truancy and their ability to be able to stay in school. Like, what happens when a child goes in and out of school? What keeps them in school? What gets them back and forth every day? So that program definitely lended itself to helping us matriculate through elementary school to middle school to high school, and eventually most of us did go to college. But those types of programs that give wraparound services help us to be stronger, because sometimes you don't get that foundation at home. Sometimes your parents didn't have it or don't have it to give to you. So you have to get it from somewhere to give you not even a leg up, but just a fair chance at this fight called life and adulthood that you go through, no matter who you are. And a lot of the resources that a program like yours will afford children is something more than, I have a resume to get me this job at McDonald's. And there's nothing wrong with McDonald's. There's nothing wrong with entry-level jobs like that. But I would want to be, if I had children or the children I'm around, I want them to have the ability to know how to own that franchise, opposed to just flipping burgers there.
And you know what, I like to say this too, like I'm also wanting to enter the world of sports, in terms of sports reality.
Right.
And I have some ideas about, working with athletes, and have what we call a sports reality tour. Because there's a lot of high school students who really have this warped sense of how good they are.
Right.
And how successful they can be. And it's good to be confident, but there are some realities related to sports. So I have a brother who played in the NFL for 5 years. He can tell you a lot of things about his experience.
Right.
He has, I know, and I was an athlete in college, but I couldn't run 4 years because I ended up getting arthritis in my hip.
Okay.
My wife, she was on 2 national championship basketball teams. She played for a lady by the name of Pat Summit, who coached at the University of Tennessee. That's where we graduated from.
Okay.
So we have, I have people in my family, but I also know others that would be able to present the sport reality to high school students. So as part of Achievement Squared, that's something that we're going to look into. Like, how can we mobilize a group of athletes, professional and amateur, or even active and inactive, to really put on some kind of event or many events across the nation for kids who have a kind of warped sense of what sports reality is all about.
Right.
They have to understand that, sure, you can be an athlete, but you also have to have a plan for what are you going to do after athletics. Because sometimes your career is going to end abruptly, or it may end once you have, 20 years in the league.
Especially in the athletic field, you just never know, based on injuries and such and such.
Yeah.
But on the line, we have another author, Miss Sims. How you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing great. Miss Sims, she's also one of the authors from the Authors Expo. So just right off the bat, just introduce yourself. Tell us where people can find you at on social media.
Okay, I'm author Shataya Sims. I have 3 books out currently, which is Living Anonymous and the sequel to Living Anonymous, which is still anonymous and nice. You can follow me on my website at shatayasims.com. Facebook, Author Shataya Sims, and Instagram at Author Shataya Sims.
So how long have you been writing?
I actually been writing since I was 7 years old. I didn't get real serious about it as far as, publishing my work and everything until 2015.
Wow. So have you been writing all that time, or was it you just started writing your book in 15?
Actually, my first book, Living Anonymous, I started in 2006 and completed it roughly about 2008. And I was kind of stagnant. I didn't really do anything with it. And then Lee Daniels came out with Empire, and my Living Anonymous has a little Empire-esque feel to it. So I was just like, oh, heck no, I got to put my book out. So that's kind of what jolted me. But overall, I'm happy that I waited because I was able to go back and mature the character. You know, as I matured as a woman, I was able to develop and mature the characters as well. So I'm happy that I did wait and I didn't put it out back in 2008, 2009 when it was actually completed.
Is this your first expo that you're being a part of, the African American Authors Expo?
This will be the first with the expo, but not my first book event.
So the books that you're pushing this year, that you are promoting this year, how much of you are in those books, or are you separate from the stories that you write?
I think every author puts a little bit of themselves into each character. The good, the bad, the ugly, just all personalities whatsoever. I think we all kind of put ourselves into each, into each
the
of us
stories you
has
write.
a piece of the character in there. But the main character, Anissa, that would be the conservative me. But the difference is she's rich and I'm poor.
It's not just right now. So you're growing.
Yeah.
So what's the overall message of your books? Is there a specific theme that you want to get across, or is just whatever's on your heart at that moment?
Overall, it's a love story, not just about guy meets girl or girl meets guy, but self-love and loving yourself and loving others, as well as showing that family isn't always blood related. Family can be someone that just has your best interest at heart, that's there for you no matter what, that doesn't give up on you. So that's why I characterize it as a love story. And there are messages throughout the whole series because it's a 3-book trilogy with Nice being one of the character spin-offs. But you journey through, the reader will journey through Anissa's character of her ups and her downs and her struggles and her happiness and her joy. So I give you everything that we as women or we as people feel within our lifespan, because the book starts in 1991 and won't end until 2020 something. I'm in the middle of writing book 3 now. So.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to take a quick break. Stay online. We're going to put you on hold, and we're going to continue your interview when we come back. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Don't forget, call in 410-702-5657. You can talk to either of our artists, ask them the questions that are on your heart to ask if you are aspiring or a budding artist. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. BeExposedRadio.com.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org.
Why would you do that?
Now, I was sitting on the floor.
All these stories always involve alcohol.
They do. I was sitting on the floor, and my drink of choice back then was vodka and orange juice. It's still my drink of choice, but I don't drink it as much.
I was a 151 kid, straight up.
I love vodka, especially when it was...
that rubbing alcohol. What brand?
I love it.
I'm getting my job, guys. We're back here. I'm just securing the paychecks. You got to secure them. But we're back here live on the Artist Exchange Radio Show. I'm your awesome host, Mr. Nate. Again, Mr. HullyWood, he's not here today, but he'll be joining us next week. Also, we have Mr. J.A. Faulkerson. I say Faulker. Faulkerson joining us. And on the line, now I did mess up your name. In my mind, it was totally different. But it's Shataya?
Shataya, yes.
Shataya, woo, I said it right. I thought I heard you correctly. Shataya Sim, she's also an author. Both of these awesome authors will be live at the African American Authors and Empowerment Expo in October on the 7th at Morgan State University's illustrious campus in their student center. So definitely come out on October the 7th and meet these two awesome authors, buy their books. But you can get them now. Where can we get your book at, Shataya?
You can get it through my website, through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target, the online stores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just basically online. I do ebooks and paperbacks.
Are you self-published as well?
I started out as self-published, and I signed last year. So now I'm under New Class Publications. So
to let people know the difference between that, do you like being self-published, or you like the security of being under a management company?
With each, it has its pros and cons. If I had the means to stay self-published, I would have. Just because it eliminates the middleman, and everybody likes their coins, and I want all my coins. So,
but let people know the work doesn't change. You still have to push your book just as much, as far as talking about it.
Yeah, I'm a pusher. Like, I'm always going to push my brand. So the difference is, like, the publisher does help, but it's not the end-all, be-all. You still have to put yourself out there. You still have to, network and go to these events and just trying to make yourself known.
Right.
So,
anything that you would want to give, any knowledge that you would want to give to any upcoming artists, any writers?
You don't need that big publishing house to, validate you. You really can do it yourself. Or if you don't have the means, like I didn't have the means, self-publish is just what it is. It's self, so you're putting the money out there and you're doing everything yourself. But, yeah, you don't need a random house or a Penguin or a Huntington Post or anything like that to put yourself out there. You are able, like, this day and age with the internet and everything, you are able to self-publish yourself and put yourself out there and getting your work known. You just have to push for it.
So Shataya will be leaving us shortly, and I have just a couple more questions. One would be, what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self?
As career-wise, or
just in general? You can mix some personal business.
Don't be in a rush to grow. Just take your time, take your growing pains, you're going to be an adult much more longer than you are a child. I definitely would have enjoyed my teen years a little bit better as opposed to trying to be in a rush into being a woman and being an adult. Because at 17, at 18, at 19, even in your 20s, you don't have all the answers. I feel like I wasn't confirmed as a woman, or not confirmed so much, but knowing myself as a woman until I hit about 31. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's the advice I would have gave myself.
So just the last bit of information on your books, where we can buy them at, where we can find you at, and any last minute remarks that you may have.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of your question.
I'm sorry. Let people know where they can find your books again, where they can find you, contact you for any deals or checks that they may just want to generally send you.
Okay, well, my name is spelled exactly how it sounds, Shataya, S as in Sam, H-A, T as in Tom, A-Y-A, last name Sims, S-I, M as in Mary, M as in Mary, S. Again, my website is shatayasims.com, my Facebook, author Shataya Sims, as well as my Instagram and Twitter, author Shataya Sims. You can follow me, tweet me, email me. I'm very responsive. I love talking to readers. I love talking to inspiring authors. So I'm very approachable in that way.
I thank you so much. And we're going to have Shataya on again so we can get a more illustrious story out of her. Because just in following her social media, she got some things to say. So I thank you, Shataya, for taking some time out today and talking to us. And I'm definitely going to send you out some dates for you to be able to come on back on and talk to us more.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Good luck,
Bye-bye.
Shataya.
Thank you. You too.
So, Mr. Faulkerson, we're here with your two books, The Real Men Raises Champions, Unleashing Your Inner Coach. And we'll talk about that one. So I wanted to give a little bit of shine to this book because on the cover is you and your son walking what I could see is a hike. Look a little hot out there.
We're actually walking up to the HullyWood sign.
Wow.
That picture was taken when we lived in Southern California.
Oh, wow. What is life? So you went from Tennessee to, you said Texas as well?
Yeah.
To California, to the Maryland area, to Virginia, North Carolina.
Yeah.
What experience have you taken along that journey? Because those are completely different places to live in.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they all had their own unique experience.
They did. I think living out in California really was something that kind of got me to really focus in on my creative self. Mm-hmm. And that's just because really my son was much older. He was going to school, and it kind of freed me up to do more writing.
Okay.
And as I did more writing, I also tapped into what I was doing with my son.
Okay.
I was being his stay-at-home parent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my wife was, at work, bringing home the bacon. I always say I bring home the eggs, But it's like, but she was the primary breadwinner,
right?
And we needed someone to be there for our son because we didn't want our child growing up the same way we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
We were both raised by single parents, and we wanted to make sure that, and even though my parents sewed into me, my single parent, my mother sewed into me, I wanted to be the person, or one of us had to be the person that sewed into her son. So
it makes a difference. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, he's an AB student now, and it's all about outcomes. I mean, how does what you sow into your child? During those early years. Okay, what is the payoff? The payoff is in outcomes. AB grade-wise, honor roll student. And then going from there and being a responsible citizen, or being getting a job that allows you to earn a livable wage and things like that. But to talk about the experiences, I think the California experience, I was able to connect with actors,
Mm-hmm.
able to connect with other writers.
So you see the crazy that it is that the arts are.
There's the Organization of Black Screenwriters, OBS. Okay, they're out in California, and they had like Charles Murray, individuals like Charles Murray, who's a writer on The Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
He's also wrote some episodes of Star Wars, The Clone Wars. I got a chance to actually
fan out a little bit.
Yeah, break bread with his brother, and so, and he's someone who's established that I admire, and also, just being able to watch his shows and being able to break them down in terms of stuff he's done, because anytime you know somebody who's either a writer on a show or whatever, you actually want to study the stuff that they've done, because if you are friends on Facebook, you can actually send them a little post or a private message and say, man, I got a question for you.
See, and that's, what about this? I like mentors that you can touch, not just you look at their career, but you can actually reach out and touch.
Yeah,
because that's valuable information that you wouldn't have gotten until you made the mistakes.
And that's what OBS does. I mean, it brings those black professionals, because it's an organization of black screenwriters.
Okay,
it brings those individuals, into. I mean, like you and I are having a conversation right now. You're able to have that conversation. A lot of times they're on a panel.
Right, that's about to say.
You're asking questions of them, but just being able to do that. But
they don't know your story.
Yeah.
To know where you want to go, they just giving you what they've been through.
That's it. And I think a lot of like individuals like Charles Murray, or even an actor like Emilu Nilsson.
Okay.
Who's,
a little son. Okay.
Yeah. So just being able to, and I'm not saying I'm buddy with them or anything like that. It's just that I know them. I got a chance to talk to them during the time I was in California, and a lot of that contact is with me now.
Right.
So it kind of motivates me to really keep pushing forward.
So you wasn't the typical. I'm not gonna say typical. You weren't that parent that were waiting for your child to turn 18. You were doing the work and preparing yourself for that day when it's on him to do the thing.
What took my wife and I, we were married 11 years before we had him.
Oh wow.
We've been married. We just celebrated 24 years of marriage.
Oh wow.
So we were married 11 years before we had him, and we knew that now was the time, because we had traveled, cruises, vacation in the Caribbean.
Partied out.
Yeah, partied out.
For now.
And these days, because we were able to build a foundation for him, we're able to take him with us when we travel.
Okay.
And party and all this other stuff. And that's just, God has really blessed us in a major way, just to be able to be in a position that we are. But I wrote the book Real Men Raise Champions because I really want to speak to the brothers. And when I say brothers, I'm not talking just black men. I'm talking about red, yellow, black, white. It doesn't matter what race you are, because the book is really written in that way. And I try to give them a roadmap that they can follow. Like
that work for you.
That work for me, and it's like, and it may not work for them.
Right. But you can still take from it what applies to your life.
And I use the acronym COACH.
Okay.
So those letters, they mean something. And and I broke it down into chapter form. So the first thing they need to do is consider the factors that hinder their child's ability to be successful. You got to know that. You got to know what are the hurdles that your child's going to face in life.
Look at your life and realize that your child will go through the same thing.
That's it.
Or be faced with some of the same things.
And that's the C. And then the O is for operate as your child's first teacher. And I tell parents, because I'm a parent educator as well, I'll tell parents all the time, you're your child's first teacher. Before they go to get that early education or go to that first school, preschool or whatever, you're
before daycare, before even preschool.
Yeah,
daycare.
You're teaching them certain things, how to behave and things like that.
And you want to be the standard that they go by. Everything else they learn, you still are the standard.
That's it. And it continues as they get older, because I know I've seen a lot of our black kids, they are kinetic learners. And see, a lot of teachers and a lot of our public schools and even private schools are ill-equipped to deal with the kinetic energy that these kids exhibit. And I call it kinetic energy because a lot of times, instead of dealing with it in a way that, just where they're teaching a kid how to control their behavior, they want to put a child on medication.
Right.
We can't do that.
And on the other side of that, it still is. On the other side, where they do absorb so much, you're wondering why my child is so detached from their culture, because you've let this school system raise your child. So now your child knows what that teacher from Omaha, Nebraska somewhere, with their standards of living is. So now I'm adapting myself to that, and I have no connection to my community. So once I get to an age where I could get up and go, I go to what's comfortable to me now, and I have no connection to the community that actually afforded me that education.
That's right. Because if our parents, and we know what's going on in our nation, where you know there's a pipeline from school to prison. You know, and a lot of times, you know, the kids, I mean, they're tracked from 3rd grade. And studies have shown this, and they can tell you if that child is a low performer in 3rd grade, he's going to end up in prison. But see, sometimes, I mean, we have, as a people, we have to look at, are our kids being set up to fill these prisons up? So what we have to do is we got to be more vigilant in helping our kids develop the skills to where they want to achieve in life. They don't want to go from school to prison. They want to go to school to college, college to career, and career to prosperity.
A lot of that is also, and it's hard in today's world to say. That was hard, I know, for my mother and probably her mother and her, to be as active as you can be. Like, be as active as you can be. Do surprise visits to these schools, because they have a lot of people coming into your children's school that you don't know anything about, doing these researches, having your child answer these questions in really polite ways. And their intention isn't always malicious, but the idea that they're asking your child certain questions, or they're monitoring classes to put into these bigger pie charts to say, well, this child doesn't have this, and this, and I think in 10 years they're going to be this. So instead of us building a better school for children that come after them, we're going to build a jail, because we see in this child things potential. So we might as well build a jail versus another school. And that happened here. Like, they were going to turn money that was supposed to be for HBCUs in the city, this city, into money that would have facilitated building a new high-tech jail. And had the people not spoken up, we would have had a new jail opposed to funding for the higher educations here in Baltimore City.
Well, you know what? When you start talking about the privatization of prisons, and there's a money or profit motive associated with that, and the only way you're going to make a profit is to fill your prisons.
And quotas.
You have to agree with Michelle Alexander, who wrote the New Jim Crow, and ask yourself, okay, do we live in an era where there is a new Jim Crow?
Yeah, we've been living in it. It's just we have a word for it now, and we have a book to be able to preface to. But we're going to go over the A and the rest of the letters when we come back from this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Mr. Faulkerson, J.A. Faulkerson. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Join the club that gives you stuff. Hey, thanks! Radio Loyalty. Here's how it works. Just click on the Radio Loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then, you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for stuff in the Radio Loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps in the New Players App Store. Pretty simple, right? Radio Loyalty. Click that banner to join now.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. That's safercar.gov/ the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
So welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show with me, your host. We had a conversation with Miss Shataya Sims. Shataya Sims. She's an author, as well as Mr. J.A. Faulkerson with the African American Authors Expo that's happening on October the 7th at Morgan State University. We will be one of the media outlets joining that, and we'll have a number of our authors from the expo joining us here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show throughout the summer and leading up to the actual date. So definitely look forward to that. We were going over coaching and what the acronym means in his book that he's recently wrote. So we were on O.
Yeah, so O was operate as your child's first teacher, and I think we exhausted that. Yeah. But the A is for advocate, and advocate for educational success and vocational opportunity. So that's what the A is for. And then the next C is for collaborate. So collaborate with other fathers to support the development of healthy relationships. And then the H is for honor your God and your wife. So that's coach. It's all about unleashing your inner coach. And that's what I'm encouraging men to do.
And I think that's a great movement to have in this this explosion of fatherhood that we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years, and a lot of the programs being geared towards helping fathers be better fathers. No matter what the relationship status is or where you are in life, your children deserve you much more than you deserve them. But we're learning that in these situations where there's already a child, you have to, wherever you are in life, start from that point. You can't wait till I get to this point. You can't wait till you're ready. There's already a child in this situation. Right. Specifically, children who are male children. And I'm not taking anything away from women and female children, but I am saying it is very important as a young man growing up without my father around. It did make a difference in my life to have men, coaches, teachers, strangers that were artists and mentors. It made a big difference to me. You know, I was afforded the opportunity to have a stepfather and a mentor growing up, and that made all the difference. But there were still things that my father could have taught me that would have been more valuable to me as far as a foundation. So it was a lot of things. How to tie a tie. Something as simple as tying a tie. That means a lot when you are in a situation and, you know, they didn't have grown-up snap-ons at the time. So you had to learn how. So I was the first day of middle school having to wear a tie for the first time. It tore me apart because I didn't know how to tie a tie. And nobody knew that. Nobody understood that. So I'm in the bathroom in school mad because I don't know what to do. Yeah. So, you know, something as simple as that to you may mean the difference between a child being equipped and not.
And see, and I was the same way. I mean, I grew up in, like I said, I grew up in a single-parent household. My mom, she was her caretaker. Well, I ain't even say she was my mother. Right. You know, and, you know, my father, I mean, he, you know, he was young at the time. They both were young at the time. And they knew they weren't right for each other, and they divorced when I was around 4 years old. and are separated and divorced when I was 4 years old, and even though my father lived in the same city, I would see him every once in a while, but it wasn't like he was influencing me the way I needed to be influenced.
Right.
I mean, most of my male role models, they were uncles, uncles on my mom's side.
Right.
And I got a chance to develop, solid relationships with them, but didn't really get a chance to really relate to my paternal side, my aunts and uncles on that side. So, but my uncles and even my aunts on my mom's side, I mean, they had good jobs. They worked at the Tennessee Eastman there in Kingsport, Tennessee, and and that was the major industry there because it's a small town,
right,
in Upper East Tennessee. But I mean, it seemed like everybody worked there. But they had good jobs. They had homes. They had cars. They had all those material things that you aspire to having. And I said I wanted the same thing.
Right.
They didn't. I mean, they didn't go to college. But they went from high school and got a job, and that's how they did it back in the day. But I ended up going to the University of Tennessee, got my undergrad and grad degrees in social work, from there, and one thing led to another, and I also met my wife in college. So, but I encourage men. I mean, we have to start standing in the gap for our women and also our children. And if you're not married to the woman who's the mother of your child, I mean, you still have to be supportive of her in terms of raising your child, because outcomes aren't good.
Right.
They probably are not as dim as we think they are. I mean, because there are a lot of brothers who have stepped up and they're doing the things that they need to do to stand in the gap. But you also have a lot of brothers who are going out there and they hit it and forget it.
Right.
That's what we say in the hood. Hit it and forget it.
And there's a systemic reason for that happening, and why that is still an occurrence even now. But that's something that I think a lot of these conversations will get to the bottom of. So real quick, last two questions. Let people know where they can find your books, where they can contact you for more information on what you do, and then I'll ask the last question.
Okay, well, my main website where you can actually see all my books is www.jafaulkerson, that's FAULKERSON.wordpress.com. That's my blog site. You can also look up any of my titles or even my name on Amazon, because that's where I've chosen to actually publish my books. So you can go to Amazon and publish them that way. But I really appreciate your support. It's like we need to support our black authors, and I really my hat's off to Patricia Johnson, for this event on October 7th. The African American authors.
There's a lot of. This is your first one. It's going to be a lot of people.
It's my first one, and I've done the Harlem Book Fair. I've done the first Read Expo down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And so I've been some places. I've seen and just selling books, speaking to people.
You ain't been to Baltimore. Let's just tell you that, sir.
Oh, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it, because this is my home, and Baltimore is not my home, Northern Virginia, but
not yet. We might get them. We might get them.
The DMV. We'll say the DMV is my home, and
we all family.
I just want to push my product, and just appreciate the support in advance for all the people who are going to visit the site and purchase my product.
There we go. So my last question to you is, and I just asked Shataya, what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self?
I heard that question, and I know I've had plenty of time to think about it. And I probably knew it was coming, but I would say, follow your passions. I mean, I've always had this passion to write. There have been stages in my life where I didn't fully acknowledge it. But I think the older I get, because I'm approaching 50 and I'm about to get my AARP card.
Yes.
And for some reason, they know how to track you down. I moved 6 times, and
it's through the Social Security Administration, so they
okay,
keep
so that's
track
how.
of
See, you got a secret away. But yeah, so it's really follow your passion. Because my gut feeling in high school told me that writing was it. That's what you should be doing. but I didn't do it. I chose social work. But I will say that writing or being creative and analytical has allowed me to be successful at everything I've done.
Passion over profit.
Passion over profit.
There we go. So we'll close out today, May the 20th. Shall I not drink the cup the Father has given me? John 18:11. God is 1,000 times more meticulous with us than even an artist is with his canvas. Using many brushstrokes of sorrow, circumstances, and various colors, he paints us into the highest and best image. He visualizes. He will only receive his bitter gifts of myrrh and in the right spirit. So thank you all again for tuning into the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Thank you, Mr. Faulkerson. I got it right. And Miss Sims for calling in. Shout out to Miss Patricia Harrison Johnson for definitely sending these artists my way. Again, the Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 to 9, every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com. You can find this interview and other interviews. You either going to BeExposedRadio.com or you can go to the radio show page, the Artist Exchange. Follow us, like us, share us, comment. You know, I always reply to your comments after the show. So we'll post up the information on Shataya and Mr. J.A. Faulkerson after the show. So thank you again for tuning in. Thank you again, Matt. Thank you again for all of our listeners for tuning in. And we're over and we're out. See you later next week.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really.